got angry.
Yeah.
And I went, boom.
How could you ever admit to something?
What they do to you in there, it's a nightmare.
A daycare provider with a low verbal IQ confesses to killing a toddler in her care.
She says she didn't do it.
After 79 denials.
I never disciplined him.
Never?
Never. I'll even take a lie detector to that.
She confessed 6 hours into the interrogation.
This video contains the interview of a daycare worker accused of causing the death of a toddler. Like many parents, Amy and Andy Kingan were in search of a daycare with a good reputation for their toddler son Ben and his twin sister. They thought they found such a place in Mini Subby, run by Judith Katz. The workers seemed attentive, and the children were kept on a schedule that kept them engaged throughout the day, so they would sleep through the night. On January 14th, 2009, they dropped the children off as usual, expecting it to be an ordinary day. Ben had been sick 2 days before, but he seemed well enough that morning after being given something to settle his stomach. None of the daycare workers noticed anything amiss, and Ben played and enjoyed his snacks as usual. During the afternoon, Melissa Calusinski noticed that Ben was falling asleep in his chair. This wasn't unusual. For the past year, he would start to fall asleep at odd times. She tried to wake him and noticed he was oddly pale. With growing concern, she called his name, her cries loud enough to be heard when she saw orange foam leaking from his nose. Calusinski's sister, a co-worker, ran into the room and began to perform CPR on Ben, but there was no response. Days later, still devastated by the incident, Calusinski was confronted with the news that Ben had supposedly died from massive head trauma and that she was the main suspect.
Let's, why don't we go back to, was it Wednesday when this all happened? In general, what I like to, now you've had a couple of days to relax and, kind of think things maybe are a little clearer on what happened that day. We find out sometimes that after a day or two of people just getting themselves there, that's a pretty traumatic experience. They tend to start remembering a little more fact, a little more detail of what occurred. And the way I usually like to do this is I like to start out from the beginning of that day. Let's say, you got up.
Yeah.
And you got yourself, ready for work?
Ready for work.
About what time was that?
I left at like 6:50.
So this was Wednesday morning, about
Yeah.
6:50. And you drive yourself into work?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Just go through your
Well,
day.
I didn't get there till like 8:20.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I clocked in.
And who was there when you got there?
Wendy, she's the head teacher.
Okay.
And a few other staff, along with my sister, Crystal.
Who were the other staff?
I believe it was, her name was, the other one, I think it was Wendy with a W.
Okay.
And then Kristen. These were other staff that were with that, because our kids before in the morning, because we keep them all in one room.
Okay.
They were in the baby room, and then when we had like 13, we split them in half and then bring my kids with Wendy into our room.
Okay.
So, and when I got there, that's when we split them in half.
Is that like a required number? You can
Yeah.
only have so many kids in a room?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the maximum amount of kids?
For right now, for the toddlers, the infants, it would be infant toddlers. It would be like a ratio of 4 for one teacher.
Okay, 4. But you can have 8 to 12 if you have, let's say, 3 teachers in one room?
Yeah, up
Okay.
to 12, you can have 3 teachers.
Okay. All right. Okay. Go ahead. So you got there. These were the people there. You got there about 8:20.
And then I helped get my kids into the room with Wendy,
Mm-hmm.
and everything was perfect.
How many kids?
There was 8 in my
8
room
kids.
today.
So it was you and Wendy.
Yeah.
All right. And 8 children,
Mhm.
including, what's the child's name?
Ben.
Ben. All right. Go ahead.
And when
What
we brought him
time?
in,
I'm sorry. What time do you think you got in there with the kids, with your group?
about like 8:30.
8:30.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
And she was finishing up, and then I started writing down what they had for breakfast.
Wendy was finishing up.
Yeah, she was finishing up, trying to get the rest of the kids and get everything together, bring in diapers and everything that we had in the other classroom, that kids that weren't changed. that we would change them in our room.
So Wendy would leave, come back with diapers.
Yeah,
so she
and
was
I
gone.
had help with my sister also. We
So
had
you-
help with other teachers bringing the kids in.
Okay, but you were with the kids the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would write on their clipboard, because they have a daily sheet that for what they had for lunch, breakfast, and snack and all that. And I was just writing that down, and what they had for breakfast, and then.
So when you get in there, at 8:30, do they have breakfast immediately?
They have breakfast before I even get there.
Oh, okay. Okay, and then you record what they had for breakfast.
Yeah,
So
we
you're
write it
good.
on a piece of
Gotcha.
paper.
Okay. Is that another requirement?
For what.
Or do you guys just kind of keep tabs or?
We keep, yeah, instead of taking off their daily sheets, it's so much easier just to write it on a sheet of paper of what they ate and what time they were changed instead of writing down all on
Okay.
the sheets.
Okay.
So. And I did that, and then when we write down their times too, and then after I was done with that, I finished doing the diapers for whichever kid got in late, child. I would do the diapers, write that down, and then wash, do the routine. We had to wash their hands right after diaper.
And you do this all in the same room?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Calusinski goes over the events of that morning and gives a general timeline of her actions. She doesn't have to rely on memory for accuracy, since there is a set routine she has to follow on a daily basis.
And there would be another teacher. Wendy was there when I was changing.
Mm-hmm.
So we would, one would change, and then one would keep an eye on the kids, of course. So after that, we were playing with the kids.
What time is that now?
Around like 8:40.
Okay. Any of the kids?
We didn't notice anything at all. Everyone was happy playing.
Okay.
There was no sign of change.
Nobody was crying. Nobody. Just not talking
Yeah.
Ben, but anybody.
Nobody.
No issues. Okay. Nobody getting out of hand or.
Mm-mm.
Okay. And is this usually the same group of kids?
Yeah.
All the time?
Mhm.
So you always have the same
Yeah.
4 to 8?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
And everything was going fine. And then once around like 9 o'clock, 9:15, we start doing early breaks for the
Mhm.
ones that came in early. Because Gwendy, she comes in the mornings at like 6:30, 6:45 to open.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes on break at like 9:15. And then I have, there's another teacher that comes in there with me that helps me out and everything while she's on break. So
Who-
another certified teacher would come in.
So did Wendy take her break that morning?
Yeah,
Does she do it at the same time every time?
yeah.
What time was that?
Her breaks are at 9.
So she took a break at 9?
Yeah.
Okay. And who came in at 9 o'clock?
It was either a teacher, her name was Nancy. She's here Monday through Wednesday.
So Nancy was there Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay. So Nancy came in for the break?
Yeah.
And how long was Nancy in there?
An hour.
Okay. And she would, well, it's a long break.
Yeah, we take an hour of breaks because she leaves. We work an actual 10-hour
Okay.
shift.
And you were there the whole time with Nancy too?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. So then you get the hour break, and so now we're at 9 o'clock. Or I'm sorry, 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. Wendy comes back,
Okay.
and then Nancy, she goes into another room to break in
Okay.
the infant room.
Gotcha.
It was like back and forth.
Okay. So now, all right, 10 o'clock. What happens after 10 o'clock?
What me and Wendy try doing now, we try doing like group time, read the kids some books, and discuss and go along with our lesson plan.
Okay. Do you have a written lesson
Yeah.
plan? Do you submit that to, is it something that you just hold on to, or is it something you
Oh, we
submit?
just put it on our board. on the
Oh,
wall.
okay, I see. So you just write it like up on a dry erase board.
No, we write them out on a sheet of paper. They give
Okay.
us like papers.
Okay.
We have to do 2 separate ones because we still have 2 infants.
Okay. Okay, so now you got a lesson plan, and you guys start reading to the
We
kids.
start reading.
And there's still nothing unusual, nothing, okay.
And they sit and listen, and then usually we try and read to them for like 5 minutes. They're still really young, so
Right,
they're
attention
really.
span's not
Yeah.
bad, right.
So we just let them play, and then we have music playing too.
Mhm.
So they dance and playing, and then me or Wendy, we do bubbles every so often too, because they like the bubbles. So
Sure, okay. So, nothing happened while Wendy was gone. Now 10 o'clock, she comes back, you guys do your lesson plans, and then what?
We play with kids.
Okay.
We do check the charts for diapers and see who needs diapers.
Okay.
Because we change diapers every 2 hours.
Okay. Do you recall anything at that point, Ben acting unusual or anything like that?
He was happy. He was
When you say
walking-
happy, how old is he? 16?
16 months.
Okay. When you say he's happy, what do you mean?
He was just had a big smile on his face. He would play a lot. He would play with his sister, and he was just like.
Ben had a twin sister who was also in daycare, and she showed no signs of injuries. I recently released another shocking case on my Patreon. This video shows the interview of a man who, after being involved in the murder of a man and his wife, later ended up shooting a 12-year-old boy in the head. You can watch it right now at patreon.com/strangerstoriesplus.
Crawl, and he was just getting used to like walking, so he wasn't walking that well yet.
Okay. But he could walk. What would he just like walk and then go down on all fours, or have to hold on to something?
Usually what we've been trying to do, because he has a twin sister in there too, we like usually they'd be like uppies, like wanting us to pick him up.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
what we've been doing, we've just been like, come on, and then we help them up, or they pull on our pant leg, and then we hold on to their hands, and
Okay.
we walk around the room with them.
So does he communicate?
Yeah.
So he can say words?
Yeah.
Okay.
He would say ball a lot, and started to say not nice.
Okay.
So.
Oh, good. All right. So go ahead. Now you've got the playtime. You and Wendy are still in there.
Yeah. And we were playing with them until about like 11, because 11:15 we feed them lunch.
Okay. And do they all eat in the same room?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they all eat the same thing.
Okay. And who feed? I mean,
We
I haven't been a dad with a young kid like that for a long time, so I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
I'm picturing my son eating spaghetti, grabbing it, and
Yeah,
I mean,
we've been trying to actually, what we do, just recently we've been trying to have them try and use spoons,
okay.
but some of them aren't quite getting it, so we only have them use spoons during lunch.
Do they sit in high chairs or
They sit in regular chairs,
Regular
they
chairs?
buckle them in.
Oh.
We actually had
the lower?
little
chairs?
wooden
Okay.
ones. One
Okay.
would like buckle,
Mhm.
like right here, and then in between the legs you put it through, or just a regular buckle.
Sure.
Does it have a tray on it?
No, the table is just like a U. It just
Mhm.
has like a little area where you can push them in and their own state.
Okay. So now they eat. No problems there.
No, they
Okay.
eat their food. Really
And what time
well.
are they done eating?
I would say 11:30.
Okay. So 11:30 you're done eating, and then what?
We have them play a little bit more until about like 12,
Okay.
12:15. Is the latest we have them play. It depends on how fussy they get,
Okay.
because we try and keep them up till 12:30 before nap.
Okay.
That makes them take a longer nap usually.
Mhm.
But when we got their cots out,
Mhm.
they were all fine. Sometimes they get fussy, and they were a little bit fussy because they were tired, and they
What
go
time
over
was
the
this?
same
About 12:15.
12:15.
Okay.
They were getting
They were
fussy.
do they sleep in cribs or cots?
Cots. We only have 2 that sleep in the cribs because they're not 16 months yet.
And they all sleep in individual cots?
Yeah. They have their own cot covers and their own cot.
And these are, I'm trying to picture these. These are like fold-out cots or something, or?
No, they're just like mats or whatever, like
Okay.
things with a little bit of legs on them. And then what we do, we have the parents that buy the cot covers, and we put the cot covers on them so that they have a pillow and the padding, so it doesn't hurt the backs or the head.
Okay, so everybody got tucked in, let's say, at
Yeah.
12:15 or so?
Yeah.
Okay, then what?
How high are the cots on the ground?
Like, yeah.
Say a couple of inches?
Yeah.
1 or 2
They're not
inches? Okay.
that high.
Did you put up the kids in the cot?
It depends because usually once their cots and the cot covers are out, they crawl. They know
They
which
go
ones
there
are
all-
theirs.
all-
Yeah.
So it was you and Wendy putting them into the cots?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So now they're all bedded down, 8 of them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And what?
Once they were starting to fall asleep, we made sure first that they were falling asleep and that they were sleeping. And then once they were all falling asleep, we picked up the room. We did it nice and quietly. We had music going, of course. After that, we just like put the little toys in a little bin or a little area for us to sanitize, because we do clean our room. We sanitize and clean all the toys every nap time.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
And do you clean the toys in the room, or do you pick?
Yeah, no, we clean them in the room.
Okay. And did you guys
The
clean
big
them Wednesday, or?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you just wipe them down with hand wipes?
We wipe, in like bleach water that we
Okay.
use for the table and diapers.
Okay, so this is you and Wendy cleaning. Okay. Go ahead.
And then after that, we were, trying to finish up on what we needed to do, because actually on Wednesday we were supposed to be ready today for the rest for relicensing
Mm-hmm.
for the registered teachers, the certified. So you were cleaning and doing all that and going through everything.
Okay, so you're prepping for an inspection.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the kids were asleep still?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you guys stay in the room, obviously?
Oh, yeah.
You're saying you didn't leave that entire time?
No.
Okay.
And then Nancy came back in to break me on my lunch. It was like 12:30, 1 o'clock. It was my usual break, but she came at 1 o'clock today, or that day.
So Nancy came in at 1 to relieve you?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you went to lunch, and it was Nancy and
Gwendy, but I actually punched out, and then I went back into my room. And usually we're allowed to do that. Sometimes because of the weather, we have a small lounge, so it's not big enough for everyone to eat. So there's 3 of us in the room, and I was kind of also a little bit helping them out.
How long were you out of the room?
Not even 5 minutes. I just went to punch out and then.
Co-workers agree that Calusinski was hardly out of the room for any length of time.
Did you have like lunch that you brought or anything?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then sometimes what the directors want us to do, and my boss, is sometimes, with lunch, we would actually sometimes eat with the children because they get more comfortable with
Okay.
that.
So 1 o'clock.
You already ate your lunch when the kids ate?
No,
Oh,
but
on your break,
like
is it?
sometimes we usually do that, but then when we're on our break, most of us clock out, and then either they start up their car, they go out to like the store or something, and then after that they come back in, and we're very quiet when we come back in.
So when you actually do physically punch a clock?
Yeah,
Okay.
fingerprints.
Oh, it's a fingerprint scan.
Yeah,
Where's that located? Is that
it's at
somewhere?
the front desk.
Front. So you walked over to the front desk.
Yeah.
Scanned your finger,
To punch out, and then I went back in my room.
and that took 5 minutes.
Not even.
Not even?
Do you
Okay.
smoke?
Huh?
Do you smoke cigarettes?
No.
I just wondered, like a lot of
Yeah,
times people
no.
leave on a break to go.
They smoke, yeah, no.
Do girls you work with smoke? Do they?
I think some do, but none of the teachers.
They go outside.
Yeah, or they either go to as they drive to go get food or something
Okay.
like that.
So you came back in, and the kids were still asleep.
Mhm.
Okay. And this is all around 1:30.
Yeah.
Did Nancy leave, or did she stay?
She was still in there.
She's still there.
Yeah, she was helping out, and I was on my break.
So it was you, Nancy, and
And Wendy.
Okay. Then what?
We were just keeping an eye on the kids, pretty much, and as they were, if they were finishing stuff up, I was keeping an eye out on the kids and
Who was finishing stuff up? Wendy and
Nancy.
what were they doing?
They were finishing cleaning up.
Cleaning up. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the kids started waking up at some point, or?
They didn't wake up till like after 2:30.
Okay. What did you have to punch back in?
Yeah, after my hour
Okay. So you left the room again.
to punch in.
What time was that at?
It was like after 2.
2?
Yeah.
Okay. And you were gone a couple of minutes again?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I came back in. And once I came back in, because Nancy didn't leave until I was actually officially in the room.
Okay, so you come back in and then Nancy leaves?
Yeah.
Okay. And then this is 2:00, and now the kids are awake or they're still asleep?
They're still sleeping.
Okay. And what are you guys just watching them?
Yeah, we make sure they don't roll off their cots.
Okay.
And
And then what time do they start waking up?
after 2:30, I don't.
So 2:30, the kids start, around 2:30, you start
Yeah.
waking up. And then what?
Once they start waking up, we write down the times of when they woke up, and then generally, like, it's usually usually one of the two that are still in cribs. They're usually the first ones. Pick them up. We take them out of the cribs or off the cots. And then
Ben's not in the crib though, right?
no, he was on a cot.
Okay, and his twin sister?
She was on a cot.
Okay,
They were almost like right next to each other.
okay,
So, but we would start changing their diapers as soon as they start waking up.
okay. And that's what happened Wednesday?
Mhm.
Around 2:30, okay.
And all the kids sleep?
Yeah.
None of them like stayed up or cried or, remember anything like that?
Usually they sometimes wake up, but some of them have binkies. So, and then they drop it from their mouth, and what we'll do,
Just to
we'll
get
go
back
over
to him.
there and gently, like, help them find it, and then they go back to sleep.
Okay, all right. So now they're off, now what?
We just turn on the lights if they're all up, and as long as the cats are all put away, we put everything away and put everything up, finish changing diapers, put up the blinds, turn the lights, and then we play some music, but other music instead of nap music.
And when did what was that about?
2:40, like 3 o'clock,
Two-
between 2:40 and 3.
Okay, all right.
And
Nothing unusual to that point? Okay.
and then after that, they were playing again. We let them play.
During this time, Ben was not showing signs of any injuries or discomfort. Before we move forward, I want to extend my thanks for watching. This video today has no sponsor, so if you're enjoying it, subscribing helps the channel grow. You can also check out my second channel, Stranger Crimes, after this video.
Because we only try and do group time in the morning. But we were playing with them. They were playing with the balls that we have and doing more bubbles with them. And around 3:15 is when we fed them snack.
Okay. All right,
And again, there was no problem. Everyone ate all their food.
okay.
And then as soon as they were done, we took them out, washed them down, make sure they were cleaned
Is
up.
it still in the same room?
Yeah.
Okay,
Made sure that they were all cleaned up, and then took off their beds and everything, did all the dishes.
Okay.
And Miss Nancy came in to relieve Gwendy.
what time was that?
It was like 3:20.
Pretty certain about that time.
Yeah.
How do you know?
I'm like, it's too much. It's too hard to to forget everything, because I was in there pretty much all afternoon. I didn't leave her at all.
Okay, so Nancy relieves Gwendy at 3:20.
Yeah.
And then what?
After that, she was finishing up with the dishes.
Nancy,
Yeah.
okay.
And then
Gwendy left the room.
Yeah, Gwendy was off. She went home.
Oh, she left, okay.
Yeah, she was off. And then after that, because she told me to do some art with kids, and I did that, and we were as the other kids that didn't want to do it and that already did it, they were playing. So when I was doing everything, and also Miss Nancy, she was keeping an eye on the kids too. I had my back turned against the wall, where I could see and have a good a view of everyone to make sure everything's okay, as I was doing art with the kids at the same time, and I was watching back and forth and helping the student out with her art, and then watching the kids. And
Okay.
then when exactly that day, I took Ben out from the chair. He was happy playing with his sister and a few other kids.
What show?
It's not like a bouncer, almost. It's like those it had like, it was like almost a monster. I couldn't explain it. Cause
What was he doing? It was just sitting there?
it's a spot, actually.
So he just sits in
every
there?
day, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Does he get himself in the chair?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I took him out. I didn't leave him on the tile and everything when I was done. I tried helping him walk, but like after a certain point, if you try, when I let go, he wouldn't want to walk anymore. So he went to his knees on the carpet, and then he walked. He saw his blanket by we have a rocking chair. It's like almost like a recliner, except without the footstool or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So he saw his blanket over there, grabbed his blanket, and he was happy and had his binky. And
What time was this about?
it was 3:30.
3:30?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was just like bobbling his head, being silly, funny, and playing with his sister and a few other kids. And then when he went into his little spot, and his sister was, because his sister started saying his name, and they pick on each other. And I was watching them, and I was making sure he was doing absolutely great, nothing wrong, as again. And then sometimes in the day he will fall asleep, but we do keep him up because usually mom doesn't want him sleeping up at 5, and we want to be having him more active and all the kids active, so that by the time we move them next door, they're not so cranky and everything and crying and whining because there's younger babies in the room.
Okay.
So at let's see, around about 4, Nancy's like, well, it's okay if I can run the dishes and everything, because we were making sure everything was fine. Everything was fine. She ran to the dishes in the kitchen. And after that, right after that, my sister Crystal heard the door still open, and she heard. So she walked in, and then that's when everything started happening.
She heard what?
When she heard me open, kind of out by the door and everything. And that's when everything went down at the same time.
Okay.
As soon as Nancy left, I was keeping my eye out. I'm making
So Nancy
sure.
walked out of the room for how long?
A second, not even, it was half a second.
Okay, where did she go? She went
She went to the kitchen.
Okay.
The kitchen's right by
And you were in the room with the kids?
the kids.
Okay.
And then when everything happened,
When you say when everything happened, describe to me what happened.
well, I looked over and I was looking back and forth where I can see all the kids,
Mm-hmm.
and he was in his chair and he was starting to fall asleep.
Okay.
I'm like, Ben, and he responded, and because I saw him move and his eyes opened. His eyes were squinting,
Okay.
and when I would say Ben, and you just see his eyes opening a little bit. And then he would no sign of whatsoever, I didn't notice anything, because I've seen how
What do you mean no sign of
he
He
him
wasn't
acting,
responding?
no, him acting any different.
Any different
no
than he normally
movement.
does? Okay.
And when I saw him again, it was not even a second. It was boom, again, Ben. And I went over. He didn't respond to me. So I went over thinking, I'm about to sleep and I wanted to make sure. And then that's when he wasn't moving. And that it was just I was trying to make sure he was awake, and I didn't want to move anything just in case, if something did. And that's when Crystal,
What do you mean just in case?
well, if anything, if he was sensitive, of some sort, because as soon as I went over there, when the door was gone, and then when Crystal heard me.
Okay. How did Crystal hear you?
Because she heard me saying Ben, and then I told her, I was can I get some help? And that's when Nancy walked out.
Where was Crystal? In the hallway?
She was by the front desk in the hallway.
And she could hear you all the way down the hall. How far is it?
Oh, not even. It was that the classroom where I went to go get my stuff, it was like, she was like right
Okay.
by the corner. And she
All right.
heard,
So she heard you go, Ben.
yeah.
And then what?
And then I went to the phone, and then she came running in as soon as possible.
Did you ever talk to anybody on the phone?
Yeah.
Who?
I heard, it was Beth, I believe.
Did you go on the intercom? Is that what you did? Or
I dialed the
Oh, you
number.
dialed?
Yeah.
what'd you dial?
To the front desk. And I
Okay.
told them that, you
Is
know.
that like a 1, 2, 3-digit extension?
It was 2 digits.
2-digit?
And then I
What's
was
the
like
extension number?
10.
10. Okay.
And then I was like, oh my gosh, and I was like, can I get some more help? You know, he's starting to, I see foam and just stuff coming through his nose.
And who are you saying that to?
To Beth.
Beth,
Yeah.
okay.
And Crystal Stucker, she picked up Ben immediately. We both reacted like within a second. And that's when Crystal was like, Beth, you know, can you come in here? I need your help. And I was trying to get the kids.
Who said that?
Crystal.
Was she still in the room with Ben?
Yeah, she had Ben
In the room?
in the room.
And you were in there too?
Yeah.
Okay, and then she says, she yells, or what does she do?
No, Beth was right there too, coming.
Okay, so Beth was in the hallway, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Could
then-
Crystal see Beth from where she was at? No.
Well, she was like right there around the corner. She stuck her head out because the door was a little bit open.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when, as soon as she said that, I came running in the room.
Okay.
I got all the kids away from there immediately. She had Ben put him on the changing table, and then like immediately did CPR right before Beth could even get on the phone and did 911.
Okay.
CPR was attempted, but Ben was unable to be resuscitated.
And then when we were, she was doing CPR, Beth was on the phone exactly with the paramedics when she was on the phone. And we did everything, and at the time we did get a pulse. And he did have a heartbeat, he really did. And
You were there the
I
whole
was
time?
there.
Were you holding him, or?
no,
Okay.
I was watching to make sure and making sure the kids weren't even near the kitchen area because he had vomit.
How do you know there was a pulse?
Sandy was checking for pulse because Sandy came in right after Beth did. So we were checking for pulses. They did up his arm here, and as soon as we saw that she was doing the CPR and the breathing and everything, I saw like the vomit, everything. You can literally see he was starting to breathe a little bit, and he did have a heartbeat. And when he left, he held on, and I guess they couldn't keep the heartbeat when they got him to the hospital. So as soon as she was on the phone with them, and once we got the pulse and everything, the paramedics came within 30 seconds.
Okay.
And they used, I forgot the name of the container where they do the shock for little kids. Defibrillator. They didn't even say no shock required because he had a pulse and a heartbeat.
How did you know there was a problem, like when you first called his name? I mean,
He was, we just tried waking him up, and.
But you were by yourself, right?
For not even like a few seconds.
But you looked at him and you called his name?
Yeah, first time. I didn't even take my eyes off of
And what happened when you called his name?
The first time his eyes opened and that was responding.
And then what?
And then he, like a second later, he like closed his eyes, and I'm just like, Ben, wake up, you know?
How far away were you from him at that time?
I would say from like here to like probably half of the door, like in the first corner.
Yeah. And then you said, Ben, wake up.
Yeah.
And what happened?
He didn't wake up, and that's when.
Did you go over, what did you do?
I checked him and everything and tried to see if he would respond, and then Crystal heard me.
Were you screaming for him to wake up? Or?
No, I was kind of like raising my, not yelling, but trying to like maybe see if he would hear me.
Did you shake him to see if
A
he
little
was
bit,
asleep?
yeah.
Okay. When did you see you said you saw some stuff coming out of his mouth or his nose?
No.
When did you see that?
When I got on the phone and Crystal picked him up. That's when I got on the phone and told Beth to come, and Crystal even said that.
How far away were you? How far is the phone from where he was at?
From where I was at?
He's still in his chair, right?
Yeah.
And
then
the
I was
phone,
over
where's
there.
the phone?
It was like close to like,
How far is that?
I don't even know. It wasn't that far down.
And Crystal's already in the room? Okay. And you could see stuff coming from his nose and his mouth?
Not from the mouth, but the nose.
Just the nose. What did you see coming from his nose?
Like an orange red foam.
Yeah.
And then after that, when she was doing the mouth picture and everything, that's when the vomit was coming. And Monday though, he was sick. He didn't have a temperature.
When was that?
Monday.
Monday?
And we noticed me and Wendy, as soon as we got him up from the nap, he was clean. He was white and pale, and he was coughing. He didn't touch any of the snacks. He had pretzels, cheese, and juice. He didn't touch it, and Sandy and Beth were in there too on Monday, and they noticed that he didn't touch it, so I gave him oyster crackers. But before that, he spit up a little bit like liquidy, like just liquid, clear. And took his temperature, it was normal. Waited a little while, and it was still normal. It was like a 99 point something.
Years later, it was suspected that Ben had something wrong with him internally.
And he, when I transferred all the kids on Monday, I had him because, like, I held him, and I noticed, he wasn't feeling good. He was, after when Gwendy left, she even said, "You don't look good." So I picked him up. He was resting on my shoulder and, like, just hanging on to me. And not even when I put the diapers and sheets on, he threw up all over me. Like, everything.
Did he come in Tuesday? No.
Because, yeah, when I left Monday, from what I heard, that he was, Mom came and got him, and not even, like, by the time she couldn't even get out of the door, because it started to up again. They had to come over the sink, and that's what I did. He got sick, and we don't know what was wrong with him.
Few kids. You married? Live alone or with mom and dad?
I live with my mom and dad, but then I've been staying with my boyfriend too, back and forth because of work.
Is the Apache address, is that your parents'
Yeah,
address?
I've been staying there a lot though
Where
because
does your boyfriend live?
this plane, he was in a condominium. He's been back from the army for a year now.
What street is he live on?
It's off. I don't know his address exact. I can find out though. He lives off of Dempster Thacker and
His
Graceland.
Plains? Yeah, I know who it is. Yeah. What's his name?
Will
William?
Yeah.
What's his last name?
Minetti.
What is it?
Minetti.
Spell.
MIN.
M-I-N?
ETTI.
What's his phone number?
847-708. I don't know.
I will let you know. It's probably in your phone, right? Okay.
Well, were all the girls at work yesterday? Did anyone call them sick? Everybody was there.
All right. We're going to take a short break. Let you kind of compose yourself a little bit too. And then we have a couple more questions to ask you. Okay? Cold? Want some coffee or something? You don't like coffee?
Me neither.
Cappuccino.
Oh, please. I live on this. Okay, what I want to do is, and what we're talking about is, I just want to clarify some times right up right around the time we started noticing a problem with Ben. Who was in the room, you know, what time did this all start occurring? So if you can go over that with me one more time.
I was probably by myself for like at least like almost half a minute.
And that's when
Everything started happening. It was like around like
you were by
4.
yourself because Nancy,
She went to the kitchen real quick to
to-
drop the dishes.
to drop the dishes or to clean toys?
No, drop the dishes off.
Okay.
To get sanitized.
And what time was that about?
It was about like 4.
Okay, go
And
ahead.
everything happened. And when I like, it was like 4, not even 4:05, not even close to that. That's when I went over and like said, you know, Ben, you know, stay awake. And like I was like, Ben, you know, he didn't respond to me the other time that I went to him. So that's when Crystal heard me outside from the door, and the door wasn't even like shut that much all the way. And then she came in.
What's Crystal's assignment? I mean, what does she do at that
She
time?
was, I think she was relieving teachers actually,
Okay.
because she does all sorts of stuff there.
Mhm.
But she's like all over. She's a floater. And then she's like, Ben, and like that's when I got and told that we need some more help.
An interesting point that hasn't been brought up is that one of Calusinski's coworkers was within earshot of the room. If Ben had cried out, or if Calusinski had lost her temper, she would have heard something if she was able to hear Calusinski calling for Ben to wake up.
And then Crystal like made it sound like a little, because I didn't want to like say it over to a point where if, you know, like freak out, I was in a calm stage and everything, telling her I need help, of course. And then Crystal had Ben, and then, you know, she stuck her head, she's like, Beth, I really need your help, come quick. And then that's when we started CPR.
So Crystal said to Beth.
Yeah,
Okay.
because Beth was right around the corner and someone was coming, but then when Crystal said, you know, I need your help, you know, come quickly, and then that's when everyone started, like, she came in, she got on the phone right away.
Didn't you call Beth?
Yeah, she was coming, but then we couldn't wait, so Crystal and Ben, and they heard me, she was coming. No, she was coming, and then Crystal said it again too. So like, you know, before everything, you know, because like I was just getting the kids out of the way and everything.
So this is all kind of happening around 4:05. How many minutes before Beth gets in there?
Oh, like
CPR?
not even like a minute.
Okay.
Because when Beth came in right away, we were moving the kids, and then Beth got on the phone right away and called 911. And then at the same time, when Beth was on the phone, Crystal was already doing CPR. She was like doing what we were supposed to, because we're all like licensed and certified.
To do CPR?
Yeah,
Who went to the kitchen?
Nancy.
Did she come in the room right away?
No,
How far is the kitchen from the room?
it's like a minute, like not even a minute away.
Did you call Crystal specifically, or?
No, Crystal heard me, and then
You're just saying Ben?
yeah,
Real
and then I need
calmly?
yours, and like that's when she came in, and then she's like,
Because you said Ben, and you were real calm. I mean, why would she come in if you were just trying?
I wasn't saying calmly. When I said it, she heard me screaming, and then like I got on the phone
So you started screaming?
a little bit. And
What were you
like,
screaming exactly?
I was saying his name.
Okay.
'Cause it just,
Do you know what happened to him?
I've been up like pretty much.
So nobody's
most of the
told
night.
you anything?
I text people, we don't know, like me and Crystal, and like it was just me and her and Sandy and Beth that were in there until the paramedics came.
When he started getting, when this all started, there was only you in the room, right? And your sister heard you screaming his name? Well, part of what we do, Melissa, is we're with the Lake County Major Crimes Task Force, and we investigate homicides That's pretty much all we do. So every homicide that occurs in the county of Lake County, they call us and we take this over, okay? We investigate the incident, and our success rate is pretty high because this is all we do and this is what we're trained for. And we have a medical staff on our team, professional people that are certified to deal with children, adults, medical examiners, FBI, evidence technicians. We have a huge team, okay? The reason that we were called in this incident is because Ben's skull was fractured, okay? We're sure that somebody did this to him. Where it's a medical certainty that somebody's done this to him. What we need to know right now is if this was done by accident or did somebody intentionally hurt him.
Yeah, I would never put my hands on it, ever. I've never put my hand on the child, ever. And I've never taken my eyes off of those kids.
Because there's one thing to hurt someone intentionally, to grab them and throw them up against the wall or swing them into the wall where they would hit their head. But it's another thing if someone dropped them or if they just try to discipline them and got out of control. But we need to get to the bottom of this because this could be a real serious thing.
The detectives are hoping to make Calusinski nervous. They already believe that she did something to harm the child, and their only uncertainty is whether it was deliberate or accidental.
And if something ever was to be an accident, it's hard to say later after someone lied about a situation, because at the end of this investigation, we're going to get to the bottom of this, because this is all we're going to do. We have 40 people on our team. So we need to know the truth right from the get-go. Right now, every single person that works at your place is talking to 2 detectives. So we need to figure out possibly how his skull got fractured.
I wish I could tell you. I've never seen anybody put any hands on any of those children ever. I've been there.
When we were speaking with the medical examiner in this situation, this wound that he had on his head is something, medical certainty, that would have happened right away when he started going into unconsciousness.
Something that couldn't have happened before he got to school that morning. It's something that happened while he was there. Sean's trying to tell you that, and you know what, medical evidence, it just doesn't lie.
Yeah.
Okay? That we're certain, based on, and when he says medical examiner, it means a coroner. They did an autopsy on Ben.
Yeah.
And there's definite medical scientific evidence, substantial. I mean, it's just not something like a tiny bruise. We're talking a skull fracture, and a child's skull fracture is far different than even an adult. Because a child's skull, depending on the age, and he's 16 months old, is soft, not fully developed. So for a skull fracture to occur, it would have to be a substantial blow, and not just a tap. Now, that's not saying that couldn't have been done accidentally, you know, with a fall or something. Those situations do happen because there could be pre-existing conditions, other medical issues that we don't know about. But one thing we are certain about is that while he was in the care of the facility, this is when this happened, okay?
The X-rays played a major part in the prosecution during Calusinski's trial. Years later, it was discovered that not only did the defense team not have access, but when the X-rays were re-examined, there was no evidence of a fracture, and that Ben's head was abnormally shaped.
I also, you know, and the reason we talk to you a lot and ask you all these questions about you as an individual and sit here and spend a great deal of time with you is that we deal with pretty evil people. You know, we deal with murderers. That's what we do for a living. So we can recognize evil people, we can recognize good people, okay? Somebody who's in the child care industry, very rarely are they going to be in there for malicious or evil purposes. They're there to do what? Take care of children and do good, and be what's called a caretaker, right? Definitely based, and that's why I was asking you kind of about your work history. This is something that's part of your career. You obviously are not an evil person. I can tell that. I mean, I can tell that the minute, in our job, we have to, for our own safety, and just because it's the nature of our job, we have to do what's called immediate assessments of individuals. Because we only have a second to react sometimes, right? When we look at somebody like you, and that's what Sean and I have been having a couple of discussions, here's a person that, under bad circumstances, bad timing, wrong place, wrong time, maybe indirectly have knowledge of something, but is compelled not to because they're scared. And I know, this is big. I mean, it really is. This is a 16-month-old baby. I mean, this is somebody's child. This is somebody who won't have a future. These are parents that will never see this child grow again. And in this situation, these are parents that are going to watch a twin sibling grow. And that alone is going to be painful because they're actually going to watch the twin of the child who's now dead grow up not knowing what that child's future would hold or anything. So not that we take anything less seriously, but a child's death or any injury to a child goes right to the top of the list, okay? Our job here isn't to condemn. Our job here isn't to judge. Our job here is just to find out the facts, put the situation to rest, give the parents some closure, and just put this off to the side. There are situations where evil people do evil things. You know that. Serial killers out there. You are a victim of sexual assault. So you understand personally, on a personal level, what intent and evil is. There are other people that, under bad circumstances, get into situations where they don't have any choice because of the circumstances. You pull out of your parking lot to go home, suddenly somebody blows a red light, you hit them, somebody in the car dies. Does that make you an evil person? No, you're a person of circumstance.
The detectives start out with an approach that is designed to make Calusinski believe they're sympathetic. Many people are willing to volunteer information if they believe they will not be blamed or held fully accountable for their actions.
A situation like this, we know, and this is why we're talking to everybody, that there's more to this than just suddenly somebody being lethargic and sleeping. We know that, okay? We're giving everybody who has knowledge of this an opportunity to tell us. Obviously, this is highly important because they don't call us in just on minor cases. It's major cases. Okay? We're very good at what we do. Very good. And I'm not going to give you our resumes, but some of the most infamous murder cases in this county have been solved by us. Homicide is a fairly general term. What that means is that the death of the child was not caused by natural reasons. It was caused by something unnatural. So don't let that term eat away at you. All that means is that he didn't die of a heart attack or a pre-existing medical condition, that there were some unusual circumstances. And in this case, there is an unusual circumstance. I'm going to tell you that Sean and I both firmly believe, again, that just looking at you, and again, it's our job to read people. We do it for a living. That there's definitely things that you want to tell us that for whatever reason, in a lot of these cases we find out it's a little bit of guilt, a lot of anxiety, because you don't know what the right thing is. You got to think back to before you maybe were even an adult, and the right thing was always to tell the truth. And the more you don't tell the truth, the further into that story starts getting more and more and more out of control until it's at a point where we can't control it anymore. All right? And then there's discrepancies in what you say, what they say, what you said, what actually happened. So the more this goes on, and the more the longer period of time that we don't uncover the truth, the worse it is for everybody, including you.
I would like to know.
Well, we want to know exactly what happened here. And we need to know from you what you know about this beyond what you told us. And I can tell you, and please, don't make a mistake and not tell us the truth. Because we're very close scientifically of putting pieces together. We need you to finalize that piece for us and tell us exactly what happened. And you're a good person. Reach down inside yourself and help this family. For crying out loud, it's a baby who didn't have a chance. We need to bring some closure to this and figure out what happened here. What happened?
I don't even know. We were doing CPR and
Melissa, the whole thing is when you talk about a certain crime or anything, it's a big word that comes up in court is intent. If someone intended on, if I go up and shoot George in the head, I intentionally, probably try to kill him, because it would be pretty obvious that that would lead to his death. So in that case, I would be in trouble with the court. So most of the laws, if something happens on intent, then there's everyday accidents. People get in accidents every day, like in cars, and there's a car accident, and the result is somebody dies, but the person who gets into an accident with them doesn't get in trouble. You've heard that before, right? So that's what the law is about. The law is all about if someone intentionally tried to do something to somebody.
On purpose, maliciously.
Calusinski is starting to realize the detectives are implying she is responsible for Ben's death, and she is becoming more hesitant.
We think in this situation, I know somebody caused the action for Ben's skull to get fractured. What we need to know is we don't think somebody intended on hurting him. We don't think someone intended on killing him. We think that something happened. We know that something happened that caused this injury to him.
Something that perhaps got a little out of control or a misstep somehow. It wasn't like somebody woke up Wednesday morning and said, I'm going to drive the Mini Subi and I'm going to kill Ben.
yeah.
We don't believe that's what
I don't
happened.
believe that
And I don't
either.
believe you believe that.
No.
But we also believe that you know a lot more than you're telling us. And please, for your own sake.
I swear, there was no problem. Me and Wendy, we never, the mom even said, though, he does throw his fits, and he has a tantrum fits, and sometimes he'll throw himself on the ground and have a fit.
We know from this injury, we know for a fact that this injury could not have happened from him just merely falling from a standing position. That could not happen. It's already scientifically ruled out by the coroner. You watch CSI and stuff, we can tell how many pounds per square inch caused an injury. We can tell everything. So we know, we're certain that this did not happen from him just casually falling or throwing himself on the ground. We also know, when I say medical examiner, they're called pathologists, but a lot of people know what medical examiner means. The medical examiner informed us that the onset of this injury that caused him to pass away happened relatively quick when he went to an unconscious state, because that's what caused him all of a sudden to go to sleep, like you said. We need to know what happened to put him in that position. We know that he just didn't fall on the ground. Because of where the injury is on him. It couldn't happen, and because of the force, he can't generate enough force to do that. And I want you to understand, Melissa, is accidents happen every single day. We will never be finished with this case, ever, till we get to the bottom of this. It's never going to go away. We need to get it out there. Don't be scared to tell us the truth, because the truth is what helps people. But when people hide something, it makes them look guilty of something. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No,
You got to come clean, because I have a good idea that you've seen what happened, or you were involved with what happened, because you were the only one in the room at the onset of this.
Well, before everything happened, he, like I said, he crawled and went into his chair, and I didn't touch any of when he was at the time too, when he fell asleep and he was being unresponsive, I only took his arm and I went like this a little bit. I didn't touch his head, nothing.
Yeah.
And
Prior to that, though, when he went unresponsive.
he was laying back on the chair, and that was like when he was unresponsive. Nobody touched him at all. Like the kids, like before he was unresponsive and everything, and after the kids left, like his sister and a little boy was with them, and they were giggling, laughing, and I was watching them.
A lot of the stuff that you say, like stuff like that, that lets us know, because what ended up happening when you have a fractured skull, you end up dying from basically your brain shuts down your body because your brain swells up. Something along that lines. I'm not a doctor, but just to explain it in layman's terms, we know for a fact, and it's a medical fact, that he would not have been able to eat his lunch. He wouldn't have been able to take his nap. He wouldn't be able to be giggling. So all this stuff had to happen right away when he went unconscious. So that's why we know it happened in that room at that time.
What do you think should happen to somebody who murders a child?
I really wouldn't know. Like,
Well, let me ask you, on the other hand, what do you think should happen to somebody who accidentally causes someone to die?
Well, if it was like an accidental, like,
If it's an accident, they didn't mean for them to die.
Right.
like
So-
really, it was like an accident.
There wasn't any, like Sean was saying, there wasn't
Yeah.
any intent, there wasn't any plan, right? And that's what we firmly believe, that this wasn't intentional. We've investigated a number of these types of cases where not only caretakers but parents get out of hand, or inadvertently something happens, and they go into this denial mode. Because it's a traumatic thing.
Yeah.
It's a traumatic thing for everybody. It's
And-
very traumatic. It's a lot of guilt to live with for the rest of your life. It really is. And Sean is pointing out to you that we're not gonna just let this lie. And we firmly do believe that you either saw or somehow were connected to this injury. We really, really believe that, and we're trying to give you the opportunity to tell us.
I don't even know, so.
Calusinski's first mistake was not asking to speak with a lawyer before the interrogation. Her second was not requesting one as soon as she saw they were determined to find her guilty.
A lot of people, they talk when something like this happens, they talk to the police and they try to put up walls to distance themselves. But in the reality, it's hurting them, because it would make somebody look more guilty that they intended on hurting this person.
I had nothing to do with it.
I don't think that you intended on hurting him.
I never put my hands on that pastor.
No. But we need to know what happened to Ben that day. Because he's a 16-month baby, Melissa. And I don't think you're definitely not a mean person, but I have a son, and I swear to God, so many times I accidentally hit his head on stuff. Every time I walk through a frickin' door, I swear to God, I hit his head. He falls down all the time. My baby's 8 months old, so I know he hits his head back, hits a chair. There's always accidents. It doesn't make me a bad person at all. And if someone was supervising him or accidentally hit his head with something, it's not going to make you a bad person, but we need to get to the bottom of this. It happens all.
I'm like trying to, but like the only person that was with me at the time before all this was Nancy, so you would probably get to talk to her more.
Well, someone's talking to her right now.
Yeah, but I never every time I would change his diaper,
Yeah.
I treat his head, make sure he doesn't hit the changing table.
Right.
So
And we know you're a good employee, and we know there's never been no incidents with you in
I
the
never
past
had no
or
complaints.
complaints.
Nothing.
So we're not saying that you're the type of person that would do this, but we need to know what happened to him. We really do. And I promise you that the truth is the best thing in this situation. You're a good person. I can tell that. If you weren't a good person, I wouldn't even want to talk to you, because we have so much medical evidence in this case. But what I'm saying is, it happens every day. When you're dealing with kids, they're just rambunctious. They jump around. They're hard to control. And believe me, it's very hard for me just taking care of one kid, not alone 8 kids. or whatever by yourself. You shouldn't have probably been by yourself. And I know it could be very stressful, but we have to let the parents know. We have to put some closure. We have to get to the bottom of this. If something happened, please let us know. If his, did you hit his head by accident with something?
No, nothing.
There's no.
Did somebody else hit his head with something?
You would probably maybe talk to Nancy sometimes because sometimes when she would pick him up, sometimes like and then put him on a chair or something, his head would hit the back of the chair. So that's the only thing.
This is something though that would have happened because of what the medical examiner told us. Is this something that on the onset of this injury, that's when he would have lost consciousness, which is when you were in the room. So it couldn't have been something that happened hours before, because this kind of injury to his head, he wouldn't have been able to function, and that's why he went into unconsciousness. And from what you were telling us, you were in the room for at least 10 minutes before this happened.
And he was crawling and everything. He didn't run into anything. I swear. I was watching him and everything.
Did you ever, because I know as a parent and, you know, as being a policeman, I encounter a lot of people that sometimes they lose control with the kid and they give them a little smack in the head. The thing is we know that this thing like this wasn't a little smack. That's why we're thinking like, you know, could have been an accident. Someone could have dropped him. Someone could have hit him head on the wall. Not saying intentionally trying to do it, but that's what could have happened probably to cause this type of injury. And that's what we're looking for. And this would have had to happen right away. You said you were with them for over 10 minutes before this happened. He would have been pretty much going into unconsciousness within 10 minutes of this happening. I don't know if someone walked in and you're covering for someone that you're not telling us.
I don't know. It was me and Nancy. You probably have to talk to Nancy, I swear.
But you know when, was your sister in there before you were calling for help at all, Crystal? She wasn't?
Like when I called, when she came in, and then she put Ben on the changing table.
Was she in there prior to that incident when you called for help, when you said Ben, when you were screaming? Was your sister in the room?
No, she wasn't in. No, yeah.
Would your sister hurt any of the kids there?
No, she has a son of her own.
Right. Okay. Would you cover up for your sister if she did hurt somebody?
No.
Okay. Even if it was an accident?
If it was me.
You would probably want to tell the truth so she wouldn't get in trouble, right? And if you think like a logical person, which I know you do because you're very intelligent, we've been speaking to you. If someone like me, for instance, is watching a kid trying to take care of a kid, and I accidentally don't intend on the kid to die or get hurt, but something happens to the kids, it would be a logical person would probably think that maybe that person shouldn't get into that much trouble because they didn't intend on that to happen.
The detectives keep insinuating that if Calusinski admits to hurting Ben accidentally, she will not be in as much trouble. In reality, as soon as she admits anything of the sort, they will start pressing her to admit that it was on purpose.
Is that a fair assumption? Yes. So I don't want you to put up walls around yourself and try to, because you're scared, not tell us the truth, because in the long run it'll only hurt you, because it'll make it look like you're involved. But if it was an accident, she would have came out and told us right away, because we know, because you know she's an intelligent person. She would have said, you know what, this is what happened, but she didn't say nothing right away, right at the beginning when this happened, because you got scared. But when we went and talked to her, she came clean. She told us the truth. She told us she got scared at the time. She didn't know what to do. She's never been in a situation like this. And she told the detectives what happened. That's all.
I can't even imagine how he hit his head or who hit his head. Like, because, I mean, it's hard to, like, you know, I had my eyes on everybody, and he was in a wide open space, and I never, like, didn't do anything to him towards his head, nothing. But like I said, Nancy was in there, maybe Nancy probably accidentally did something.
Okay. And that's what we're getting to, all right?
Yes.
If Nancy did something, and you have knowledge of that, you're helping us, you're helping yourself, that's phenomenal. But if you're being reluctant in saying something about Nancy, then you really are accepting part of the responsibility. That's what the perception is going to be. So if Nancy did something inadvertently, and you feel that maybe a little guilty about not reporting it right away or not taking some kind of action, don't. You're not a doctor. You're not a doctor. You don't have X-ray vision. Kids fall or kids hit their heads 1,000 times. You know, I've got 2 kids, and the first one we treated like a China doll because we thought she would break. The second one would take tumbles all the time and and as you have more kids, you sort of grow immune and used to those types of injuries. If you saw something, and I'm starting to believe that maybe you did see something and you didn't take immediate action, that's not on you. You're not a doctor. But you need to tell us what you saw. And if it was Nancy, then we need to know that. That's very important. You're helping us. You're assisting us. That's going to benefit you, not just right now, but it's going to benefit you with your career and everything else that you came forward. You're a scared young lady. You've got 2 detectives. You're in a place where you don't know what's what. I would be reluctant to say things too. But you got to trust us. We're not here to condemn you. We're not here to put you in jail. We're here to come to the conclusions of what happened to a 16-month-old child. And if you have knowledge of that, you need to tell us. You need to tell us. And you need to accept the fact that another person did this, and that's fine. But don't just speculate. You were there. You saw what happened. What happened? What happened?
Sometimes.
Not sometimes.
I know.
What happened yesterday, Wednesday? What happened Wednesday? What happened? You know something happened. You know something bad happened. You know something real bad, and you probably stood there going, I wonder if that's as bad as it looks.
With Nancy, like, sometimes, like, when she handles, like, when Ben usually cries, I'm saying this, she probably did it, like,
Not probably. We need exactly.
My back was turned, so she...
What did you hear?
I didn't hear anything. It was just...
So where are you recalling
Nancy,
a moment when your back was turned?
When, if Ben was crying, because I don't remember much, I'm still in shock, like...
Right. Listen, I know you are, okay? Even worse than not telling the truth is half-truths, okay? It's half-truths. You know, you've got over this. Look, you're an adult, and you're a smart person. You're not stupid. You don't have memory loss. You're not in medical shock, okay? What you are is in denial, and you're thinking, I don't want to be here. I don't want to accept that this is happening. I don't want to accept that he's dead. I don't want to be anywhere. If you had a choice right now, you'd be as far away from us as possible in this whole situation. If you had a choice, you wouldn't have come into work Wednesday. You wouldn't have been there. But you know what? You were there. You were a victim of circumstance, right? So don't be an offender. You know what an offender is? That's a bad guy. Be a witness. Be a witness. And you know clearly and sharply in your mind, and no one is blaming you for not taking some action, okay? No one is blaming you for that.
After giving Calusinski a chance to make some sort of admission, they start to add shame and intimidation to their method of questioning.
But we need to find out exactly what happened, and we completely believe that you know what happened. And if it is Nancy, okay, in great detail, not my back was half turned, not I didn't see it and hear it and smell, but in great detail, you need to tell us this, and we need to put this to rest. We need to all go home tonight and have this entire situation put to rest. Okay, we need to finish this today. We don't need you walking around a week from now, 2 weeks from now, looking doubt, no closure. We don't need that. You don't need that. You can't possibly, and I'm a lot older than you, you cannot carry that burden of guilt. You can't do that. So you've got to tell us what you saw in great detail. Not possibly, not probably, because you know 100% we know what happened, but we need you to tell us. Tell us what happened.
Before everything happened, I was giving them a snack. I just used I cleaned them off and everything when they were all done. After I cleaned up Ben's hands and everything, I put him down, and he crawled. He was fine before all that, and I believe I changed his diapers. When I changed his diapers, like, he didn't hit his head or anything, and like, it's just questionable to me now if when Nancy held him, maybe if he threw a fit and hit like, ran into something to a point where he hit his head hard. Like, cause like I keep saying over and over, I made sure like he was safe.
I'm not doubting that.
I know.
I'm not doubting that. What I'm doubting is that you didn't see Nancy do something to him.
No, but every time she comes in, he cries. He doesn't really like her.
Did you see her do anything?
As far as I know.
Not as far as you know.
Don't protect
I
Nancy.
know I'm not protecting
It's
Nancy, but
Did you ever see her do anything before? Ever?
like
To a
pick
kid?
him up. No,
Smack a kid?
no, never.
Throw him
She
into a
just,
wall?
no,
Throw him in the crib?
no.
You didn't see her do anything to this kid?
I swear. I'm just maybe wondering if when she would hold him, that, you know, she'd run into something, or when she would put him down, she didn't put him down nicely or gently to a point where he would
It's
hit
not
his
gonna,
heart.
this
I
injury
don't
isn't
know.
caused from something like
No.
that. It's something either,
Because I'm
it's something either
clueless.
you done or Nancy did, because it was something that just happened then, and it's something that couldn't be done without someone else noticing, because it had to be done with a considerable amount of force.
I'm seriously bringing back and thinking back then
Right.
of Wednesday. I know for a fact that I did not do anything. I did not see anything with my own eyes for him to even have a fractured skull like that. Because when I first found out that I had maybe something to do with it,
When did you find that out?
yesterday from the DCFS, I had a note that me and then the other person
When did you talk to DCFS?
yesterday.
They called you
No, they came and interviewed me
at your office?
in the lounge.
Okay.
And at the time, I told him, I was just like, and I read it, I was like, and I told my boss, I pulled her into the office and I told her, I'm like, you know, how come my sister didn't get this or whatever, because she did CPR.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time CPR was going on, I pushed all the kids out. Maybe I told her, I'm like, I'm clueless. Why did I get this? Why am I? Seems like I did something wrong.
What did it say?
That I was someone called DCFS on me.
Calusinski is growing more desperate. She is willing to imply her coworker is somehow responsible and is even upset that her sister has not been questioned as closely.
Like saying that it could have been my fault for a fracture. Like he didn't specify what happened.
Let me tell you right away, that's just something they have to do because it's a child care facility.
I understand
Okay,
that.
number two, if you lied to them, for whatever reason, just say you did, it doesn't matter one iota. Now's the time to come clean.
Yeah,
We're the law.
Yeah, we
I
don't
understand.
care.
We don't give a shit what you told them.
I
It's
understand,
never
and
going to make you look bad. You
I
might have been
know.
a little confused and shaken up yesterday. So whatever you told them, I don't want it to in any way affect what you're going to tell us. Don't try to be consistent
No,
with what you told them.
I am. I'm swearing to you. I am not lying. I am swearing on my aunt's grave and my uncle's that I did not do anything to fracture his skull, and I did not see anything.
Did you go out with anyone from work after work since this incident happened?
No, I
Including
went
your
straight
sister.
home. I went straight home.
Did you talk to Nancy after this on the phone?
No, I gave her my
outside of
number.
work?
I gave her my number.
Did she call you?
No, she didn't. I told her to give me a call if she needs to. She never called me.
Okay. Did you ever see Nancy handle the kids roughly?
No, when she would put them down sometimes, she wouldn't support their head sometimes, and she would get a little intimidated and aggravated with the children because they would be crying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it happens, and yeah, I get
Sure,
aggravated
I
a
get
lot.
aggravated at my own son.
And of course they're gonna cry, and I'm like, oh my gosh, please, where's your binky? But when sometimes she would pick them up, sometimes she would have them, sometimes not handle a child that very well. And I know she has 2-3 kids. She has a toddler of her own that's in the other bigger
It
room.
doesn't mean nothing. It
Oh,
doesn't
I
mean
know.
they're going to be better with kids,
Oh,
or
I
it
know.
could be worse. We
And-
deal with people who kill their own kids.
I know, and she would get frustrated.
I get frustrated. I mean, everybody does.
Yeah.
It's human nature.
But and how she would sometimes pick them up. She wouldn't support them. She'd just pick them up and hold them as they're facing towards you, and hold them like that.
Was Ben sleeping during his nap hour
Yeah.
when Nancy was there?
Yeah.
Was she mad at him and all that day?
No.
No one was mad at him?
He probably woke up around 2.
Who's the oldest kid in the room? How old?
It would have to be let's see. No.
Over
I
2
know.
years old?
No, if they were over 2 years old, they would have been in another room. And we have another set of twins, but they're gone for the month. They're the oldest. They would be the next move over.
If you were involved in this in any way, would you tell us if it was an accident? You will understand that
Yes,
we're not
I
out to
would
get you
complain.
and put you in jail. That's not, people think of police and they get scared. We're just out to get the truth of the matter. How about the family with their recovery through this thing and bring this case to a closure? We don't think that you went in there with a baseball bat and hit this kid over the head. We've never said that. Because if you're that type of person, we don't even want to talk to you. We're going to use all our evidence and try to prove it and put someone like you away. But we don't think you're that type of person. We think this could have been either someone getting real frustrated or an accident. The last thing I want, since you're a good person, I don't want you to cover up for anybody.
I won't.
There's a certain law for covering up. It's called concealment of a homicide. Now, just because it might be called a homicide, like my partner said, that doesn't mean someone intended on killing them. It just means, if someone gets hit by a car, that's actually, a homicide until the coroner has an inquest and they rule it an accidental death. It doesn't mean it's an accident. But there is a charge for someone who intentionally and knowingly lies to detectives during an investigation where it's classified as a possible homicide, and it's not a nice charge. So I would hate to find out later that you're trying to protect your sister or Nancy.
No, I
Because
know,
I guarantee you right now that they're talking to detectives, and they're going to know right away who's guilty and who's not.
While the others are being interviewed, neither one was in the room with Calusinski when Ben was allegedly injured. The most they could do would be to tell the detectives if they had ever seen Calusinski being rough with a child.
I never, ever would cover up for anybody, not even for a death.
If you did something that was an accident, though,
I would say something.
you're smart enough to know that you didn't mean to do it, right? If you lost your temper and maybe cracked someone, would you tell us?
Yeah.
You would? Have you ever thrown a kid against a wall?
No.
Have you ever hit a kid's head against anything? Never?
Never.
Did you ever hit Ben?
No. I've known them since they were really little. And when I first started subbing, in January, I went over there to sub. That's where I first saw them, the twins. They were still babies.
What are the other workers going to say about you, how you handle the kids?
They'll say that I handle them very well. I don't.
Right. Do you get aggravated easy, or do you?
No, not really. I've never seen anything like that ever. And I would definitely come clean and say if I did see anything, I would say something. I would. I don't hide anything. I don't cover up for anybody.
Were you out with your sister Wednesday or Thursday night?
No,
You didn't see her after work?
no. She went home.
So no long conversations on the phone? Nothing?
No, we would find, she would call, check up on me and see how I was doing because I was scared at the time when she was doing CPR and everything. I left to go put the other kids in another room when they were still doing CPR still, and that's when the paramedics came. But yeah, I never do anything to those kids, ever. Never put my hand on a kid.
All right, we're gonna take a short break again. You need anything?
No.
No, water?
Calusinski has refused to change her story so far, but can she continue to do so in light of the police continuing to barrage her with accusations for hours on end? Is there information that she has been trying to hide that will give away her guilt? Or is she as innocent and frightened as she claims? Stay tuned for part 2 of this interrogation to find out. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like the video. And if you want to support the channel even more, there's a Patreon link in the description below. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.